What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today, well, I thought it'd be a good day since the truck is clean, that we would go over how much I have spent on the exterior of this truck. You guys know that I made a video on what I've spent on the interior, so today we're going to go over the exterior, everything that I've spent. I'm going to also at the end include the interior cost, what I spent for the truck, and so what I am in it total. Okay, so that is what we are going to be doing today, guys. If you're catching some wind, I am sorry. It's supposed to be snowing soon, and I wanted to do this while the truck was clean, and it's really clean. I'm getting ready to put it back in the garage, but that is why I'm doing this right now. Also, the transmission that you see behind the truck is actually another core. Turns out the green truck transmission is bad, and so if you guys see that, that is what's going on. But I've got this huge list of what I've spent on this truck, and it's a little bit mind-boggling, but I figured we'd start. I've got it separated in body, suspension, and mechanical. I'm going to try to go over everything that I've spent, and like I said, sorry if you guys catch some wind noise. It is a little bit breezy. As a matter of fact, you might see some snow start to fall. So anyway, starting on the body, and we're going to try to work our way from front to back. So the front emblem, the little bow tie, the billet bow tie emblem, I spent $35 on that thing. I'm also going to list all this stuff in the description. If it's available, I will have it listed down below. So $35 on that. So on to the headlight housings themselves, the actual housings, they were all beat up. I spent $102 on those. Then on to the LEDs, because we obviously wanted to put LED headlights in. I spent $130 on that. Then here recently, I just put fog lights in, so that little valance that holds the gray piece on the bottom, the dark gray or black piece, I spent $85 on that. The fog light housings themselves, I spent 66 bucks on those, and then the LEDs that are in the fog lights, I spent $30 on those. Then we did the 6 on mod, so basically all 6 lights come on at one time, the brights, the dims, and the fogs. That was 25 bucks. And then the fog lights, so I had to put the switch in, and I had to make my own wiring harness, so all in, that was 80 bucks for the switch and all the wiring that I did, which you guys can check that video out as well. I made a video on it. Onto the windshield, it was chipped in a couple places, and then when I put the headliner in, it was way easier, since it needed replaced anyway, to just pop it out, put a new one in. I spent $223 on a brand new windshield, and that includes installation. And then the mirrors, so these mirrors I've actually had for a little bit. I bought them from a salvage yard. I spent $100 on them. They were turn signal, heated, and while the glass was bad, the mirrors themselves cost me 100 bucks. And then I bought new glass, so with the new turn signal indicators in them, I spent $87 on both sides. So that's the driver and passenger side glass for the mirrors. And then the door handles, I wanted a smooth set of door handles that were paintable. So I spent $68 on those door handles that you see that are paintable. And then I did pay my painter to paint the mirror caps, the handles, and the tailgate handle, which you'll see in a minute. I spent 160 bucks on, that's the paint and for him to paint them. So relatively cheap there. The little short antenna, that was one of the first things I always do to vehicles. That was 15 bucks. Then you go on back here to the high mounts. So I put a new third brake light in that you see back there. They're kind of pricey, 75 bucks for one of those things, but it is an original GM, and the old one was cracked, and you get a lot of water leaks if you don't replace stuff like that, guys. So other than that, we've got the window regulator. I probably should have included that on the interior stuff, but I did spend $91. This back window would not roll up or down, so I had to put a new regulator in it, and that was $91. On to the bed cover. So a lot of people have asked about this. Obviously, I made a video on each one of these things, but the bed cover, guys, I spent $451 on it. I absolutely love this thing. I like it better than the trifolds. I definitely like it better than the hard covers. But yeah, $451. That was a pricey one. On to the tail lights. Both passenger and driver side tail lights together were $140. You can buy cheaper ones. I go with a certain brand, which will be listed down below. I think they work better, they last longer, just a better quality product. Then I had to put a tail light harness on one side, so that was 49 bucks for that. And then the tailgate handle itself, so the smooth handle and the smooth bezel, I spent $52 on that separately, so that's not included in the handle price that I talked about just a second ago on the front or on the sides. The light housings, so the little housings in the bumper that hold the tail light or the license plate lights, I spent 13 bucks on those. They're relatively cheap. The backup camera, I tried this new like smaller looking backup camera. It was 130 bucks. So all that stuff combined on the exterior of the truck comes out to $2,207. So that's just the exterior. Now we're gonna get to wheels and tires with the suspension. I just figured I'd include that there. So starting back up, actually we'll start in the back and go forward. So the suspension, obviously we have roughly a 4.7 drop on this truck. And so all the components that I used, I'm going to be listing here. So starting with the flip kit to get the axle on top of the leaf springs as opposed to on the bottom, that was $117. I obviously have helper bags in the back, so we can adjust the suspension when I have a load on it or a trailer on. Those were pretty pricey, $397 for those. The notches, in order to get this thing to flip kit, you have to put notches in. I chose some notches from a new company I never tried before. They're weld-ins. They were a little pricey as well, $275, but they are weld-in. They're not a bolt-in notch. Then we had to use shock extenders to get our shocks, and people ask me this all the time, do I need those if I'm getting a drop shock? Yes, you do, because it puts the geometry back in place. And so those guys are 44 bucks. Then the shackles, when you do a flip kit on these trucks, you get a 6-inch drop. I wanted 7, so I had to put shackles in the back. Those shackles were $48. And then the shocks, now this is the front and the rear shocks, so all the way around, Beltec shocks, $241 for front and rear shocks. Now on to the front, the A-arms. So I generally do this when the truck's higher mileage, but I put upper and lower A-arms. You get new bushings, you get new ball joints. To me, that's the better way to do it. I spent $300 on upper and lowers. That's both sides and upper and lower. So comes with new ball joints, new bushings. I just think that's a better way to do it. 300 bucks for that. The drop spindles are kind of pricey, $317 for a set of drop spindles for this truck. Tie rod ends, $70 for the tie rods. And then I don't know why, but the air compressor, for some reason I put in the front, but the air compressor that we're using to inflate and deflate the bags that you guys saw me install, that was $241. Back to the front, the springs, the drop springs, so it's got a 2-inch spindle and then a 2-inch drop spring. The springs were $170. I put new bump stops in the front. When I did this whole drop, they were $27. Sway bar end links, I like to replace just about everything when I'm going through. That was $23 for the sway bar end links. And then the wheels and tires, obviously that's a pretty pricey piece. Those wheels and tires were $1,853. Tire size 265 35 22. It is a 22 by 9 inch Texas edition replica. And other than that, guys, the alignment, obviously anytime you lower something, you're gonna have to get an alignment. That cost me $89. So with that being said, on all of that stuff that I just listed, that was $4,212. So obviously the biggest portion was suspension and wheels and tires, but I am pretty picky about my suspensions and I want them to ride right. And so I use the best parts you can buy, and I like to, you know, fix anything that could possibly be an issue. So definitely looks better with that. And then other than that, guys, the last category I have is kind of mechanical. And it really doesn't entail like oil changes and stuff like that because I didn't really count that. But I will tell you, as far as mechanical, you guys recently saw me do plugs and wires. So the spark plugs were 22 bucks. The plug wires that I chose were those Eldebrox. They were $93. I did put a new filter on. That Green Filter USA filter, that conical filter, is 68 bucks. The exhaust, when I got this truck, it had some Gibson loud. It was kind of rusty. I didn't like it. I just bought some stock exhaust from a salvage yard and put it on. That was $80. I actually didn't show you guys that video, but if you notice in some of the videos, it was louder when I first got it than what it is now. And then the brakes, obviously I did that with the suspension, but it's more of a mechanical thing. I spent $226 on the brakes. and the pads just for the front, because the rear is a drum setup and they looked good. All I did was paint those. Now, I didn't include the cost of paint because I did have that black caliper paint laying around here, but so the total on mechanical stuff was $489. So not a lot, and I'm probably missing a few little odds and ends pieces like wiring and whatnot, guys, but I figured another $100 worth of like miscellaneous, like let's say wiring, or any kind of connectors that I might have used, or let's say like when I had to put grease in the ball joints and whatnot, just like little stuff like that. Let's say $100. So are you guys ready for this total? It's gonna boggle your mind that I've spent this much on this truck. And so the exterior total, so everything that I bought for the outside of this truck, so we're not including the inside now, just the outside, $7,008 is what I have spent on the exterior of this truck. That is crazy. That is way too much, I know. And I did price this thing a while back and got a lot of flack about my pricing, but look guys, it's about to where I want it. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm making this video. I'm pretty much finished for the most part with the outside of the truck. So $7,008. Remember on the last video when I did on the interior, it was $35.32 is what I spent on the interior of this truck. So we have a total, I spent $7,000 on this truck when I bought it. And so that's probably a little higher, but we're in a market where trucks are going a little high, especially for the mileage. It's got 238,000 miles on it, I think. So with the cost of the truck and all the cost of the stuff I've done, I am in this truck $17,540. Now look, I did sell the wheels that came on it, which were wrecked, but the tires were in good shape. I sold those for $350. So that puts me net in this truck $17,190. That is absolutely insane, isn't it? But hey, look, I love doing it. I love to tinker on stuff like this, little tweaks and stuff, making this truck look better. I just love to do stuff like that. You guys see it all the time on this channel. I'll do stuff like this, then I'll sell it. And I would sell this truck. I'm not gonna give it away. It's a great truck. I drive it every single day. Rain, snow, sleet, it gets driven. Although when I don't have to drive it, like right now, I'm hoping that I can get it in the garage and not have to drive it until the snow melts. But if not, I will drive it. So to me, it's worth it. To one of you guys, it may not be. In my opinion, if you're gonna keep a truck around, I think, what does it hurt to spend money on your passion, right? Stuff you love to do. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I wanted to make it before it snowed, while the thing was clean and you could get a good look around it. But if you did like this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, go down there and hit that subscribe button. Of course, ring the bell icon that notifies you every single time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.